the red light is on. You can just about see that in the top corner of the screen. The lights go out and away we go then, and immediately Cowley does move across to the right hand side of the circuit. That's where he clearly really wanted to be, and he's got Bagnall in beside him. Mark Glover in the number 4 car has made a good start. He's moved up to second position. You've got Richard Rothery in the blue PRS. Has fallen off one of the cars there, I think, as they head through Abbey for the first time, and it's side by side for the 2 leaders. They head down to Village. It is going to be Cowley that holds on to the advantage then as they turn their way through that right-handed hairpin from Mark Glover in second place. It's Bagnall that's still in third, Peter Bowe 4th, Richard Rothery 5th, and Oliver Collett 6th at the moment. There's some jousting for position a little bit further back down the order. Cars running side by side as they head down Hang Straight for the first time.
Yeah, that was Hugh Davis looking to turn in at the usual point, and realising there was a car there, which was the 15 of Bill Rutter, so he had to readdress his line very slightly over the quick dry. So could be pretty slippery on the exit of that corner onto the Hanger Straight. They've all managed, though, to stay on the straight and narrow for the time being. Again, another puff of quick dry from Bill Cowley's front left tyre, rather. And side by side for the lead, this is Mark Glover trying to fend off from the front row, Bagnall. Yeah, Alexander Bagnall there in the number 41 car, who now in turn in third position is trying to keep Peter Bowe in the Derby, the reigning champion, behind him. The Bagnall car is actually Dave Robson's, well, not his regular man, because Dave Robson not driving the car. He's the car owned by him. Oh, and that's the car that was off yesterday. The Centaur has had another spin. That is the 57 car of David Watts trying to get back into the race. That, I think, was on the link road between Vale and Club, yes, because now David's just coming out of Club to whip across the line to complete his first lap. So Cowley will lead, but we're quite rightly focusing on the scrap for third position between Alexander Bagnall, Peter Bowe in the orange number 1, and Richard Rothery, who'd worked his way up the order nicely yesterday. That 17 car has got good lap speed. Bill Rutter runs a bit wide in the background, out onto the Hanger Straight, kicking up the dust once more. Race leader Bill Cowley heading for Stowe. As Richard Rothery goes down the inside of Peter Bowe for 4th position at Stowe Corner, he goes through, so the move is made. But he runs a bit wide on the exit of the corner. Does he manage to keep hold of the advantage as they drop down towards the Vale? Peter Bowe is still alongside him as they're about to reach the turning point for the corner, but no, he can't quite do it, Peter Bowe. So Rothery in that number 17 car, the PRS, is the car that holds the lap record around here in the hands of David Bartholomew. He does indeed go through it into 4th position, and now Peter Bowe has got his tiny little mirrors filled with that grey and green car of Oliver Collett, the much bigger physically on the circuit Race Kits Falcon. Bill Cowley's done the best lap of the race. It was on the first flight lap, of course, at 1:16.08. Still nothing between Bill Rutter and the car ahead, Hugh Davis. Davis looking to turn in behind, actually. Davis is Simon Bolter, I beg your pardon. So they are fighting for 11th and 12th positions, with Bill Rutter just ahead. Again, Peter Bowe massively defensive in the Derby, with the Race Kits Falcon of Collett trying to go around the outside as they funnel their way back onto the Hanger Straight, and having a long look around the outside now of Mark Glover in second place is Alexander Bagnall. Should get that done before the braking area for Stowe. Yeah, absolutely right. So that's a nice move done there by Bagnall up into third place, with second place I should say, with Mark Glover now behind him, and Richard Rothery is gaining on these two as well. It would seem he's got away from Peter Bowe, who in turn has been lap passed now by number 31. Oliver Collett has gone through. It looked like that was done under braking for the Vale, so 31 Collett now up to 5th position, and it's not been the strongest of weekends so far for Peter Bowe in that Derby, although he took right in behind that car now. We want a bit further up the road. Glover trying to get back ahead of Bagnall for second place. From this vantage point, you really get an idea of the dimensions of the different cars within the 750 Formula. Much narrower car for Alexander Bagnall, who sits in second position with his SDAR. And turning right now, there's a drama though for Simon Bolter in car number 6, who's limping across the line in another Derby, the Mark 4.5. And Simon had been duelling really well with Hugh Davis and Bill Rutter. So that car, unfortunately, losing straight line speed. Here's Richard Rothery having a long look at Mark Glover, Ian. Yeah, he's on the inside line for Stowe. This is where he got past Peter Bowe a couple of laps ago, and he's made that work. Can he hold on the exit of the corner as well? He ran a little bit wide once he got past Bowe, but this time no such mistake, and yes, he sealed that move quite nicely.
and Rothery is up into third position. Remember, he finished the race second yesterday, and he's just got Bagnall ahead of him to try and at least equal that performance with Bill Cowley, the race leader, number 77, in the Cowley Mark IV, designed by his granddad, a couple of seconds further up the road. But it's a good, strong performance this weekend from Richard Rothery. There's our race leader then, Bill Cowley, heading down to Abbey for the 5th time now. 41. In second place is Alexander Bagnall. In third place now is number 7, Richard Rothery. In fourth place is number 4, Mark Glover. Fifth is number 1, Peter Bove. And in sixth place, it's the number 31 car of Oliver Collett.
So through farm and into village will go Mark Glover. The gap back to Peter Bove, who's still got his arms full of Oliver Collett. There are a couple of cars going slowly down the Hanger Straight. So the first of them we've identified, Simon Bolter, and then behind, is that number 42, Martin Kemp?
Yes, it is.
So well over to the right-hand side, because the leaders are bearing down on them, and this could be a tricky Stowe corner now, because they're going to be sitting right on the racing line as Bill Cowley and the rest of them arrive.
Hand in the air for Martin Kemp to let everyone know that he's going slowly. There goes Bill Cowley, past him. There goes Alexander Bagnall. There goes Richard Rothery. And they all have to sort of take a slightly less than optimal line to get past those slower cars. But now you can see Bolter heading into pit lane. I'm sure Martin Kemp will follow as well, which will leave us with 17 cars still circulating. And it looks like it could be a good second half of this race. Still more than half of it to go, actually. 8.5 minutes left. Bill Cowley's lead has come down a bit that time, actually, to 1.83 seconds.
Now, that's interesting for fifth, because Peter Bove has managed to drop Oliver Collett all of a sudden and focus on the car in front. So gap, I think, closing now between Bove and Glover. How did their previous laps compare? Yeah, there's about a second better off for Bove compared to Glover, who of course is trying to find a way past Richard Rothery at the same time. That's the benefit of having some track to yourself, I suppose. But for Collett, I'm not sure whether he's got a problem as such, or whether Peter Bove has just upped the ante a little more. You can see, though, if you run a touch wide coming out off the link, you are going to catch that quick dry and potentially oil beneath.
Yeah, indeed. Yes, there's one or two drivers just going over the top of that. Peter Bove is one of them. There you can see the number 5 car coming into shot. That's the SSF, being driven by Jake Doherty these days. Long time raced by his grandfather, I should say, Bob Simpson, who's been racing in Formula V for more than 50 years. And we think we're going to see him out at Cadwell Park for the next meeting. But Jake Doherty taking over for the moment. There's our race leader, Bill Cowley. The gap was 1.83 seconds at the end of the previous lap. Has Alexander Bagnall made any more progress towards him? Yes, he has. He's done the best lap of the race now, 1:14.87 for Alexander Bagnall. The gap is down to just 1.23 seconds.
So charging hard from second place, yes, and Bill Cowley will need to suggest that maybe he needs to react to this a little more. There is more pace to be found potentially with Bill's car, although he's just done his best lap of the race as well. So the quickening speed at the sharp end of the field evident for all to see. In fact, another good lap as well from Richard Rothery in third position. Oliver Collett struggling to hang on to the coattails of Peter Bove, because Bove again is closer to Mark Glover for fourth position.
Good drive this, though, from Alex Bagnall. He was, I think, down in 10th, was it? 9th yesterday in the results, but running second today, mirroring that good performance he showed in qualifying. Started racing back in 2009, in road sports and 750 Formula and some karting as well. And he, this weekend, is driving Dave Robson's Star, Fiat engine car, of course, that Dave built a few seasons ago, the sort of second or possibly third of the cars that Dave built over the years. But Alex is also building his own car to race as well. Meanwhile, we're looking at the battle for 7th, 8th and 9th here. Chris Goff, Jake Doherty and Christopher Johnson there disputing the position. So the CGR, you've got the number 5 car, it's the SSF, and also the Race Kits Falcon of Christopher Johnson as well. Good little scrap this, Johnny.
It really is, as they stream across the line as one. Peter Bove showing he's now got some speed in the Derby. Quickest lap of the race from 5th position. It's a 1:14.8, so there's really will be nothing between Bove and Glover this time around, as now feinting to the outside line of Village, but leaving the door open is the number 5 car of Jake Doherty, so Johnson will plug the gap. He'll also try and jump ahead of Chris Goff in the same manoeuvre, and does it. Excellent racing.
Yeah, so 2 places made up, and Goff loses another position as well, because Jake Doherty, as the cars come on to the Hanger Straight, capitalises there. Oh, and look, that's Peter Bove right with Mark Glover now. he really has narrowed the gap, hasn't he? So 3rd, 4th and 5th right together now. The leaders a little bit further up the road. They're about a second apart, but you don't know where to look. The gap battle's going on all the way down this field. Just a 1 second gap between the two leaders, about 1 second covering these 3 cars, and equally for 7th, 8th and 9th. We've just seen a great move there by Christopher Johnson to pick up 2 places. There were the leaders, and there's the battle for 3rd as well.
Yeah, half a second taken out of Bill Cowley's lead by Alexander Bagnall on that lap alone. So half a second as now Peter Bove is overlapping Mark Glover through Abbey. The kink at Farm, the left-hander. Can Bove shape up Glover for an overtake? As late on the brakes as he dares into Village, but Glover's just about carrying enough momentum. He will run out wide because of the trajectory that he arrived at that corner in, but he should be able to fend off Peter Bove. We quite rightly, though, turn our attention to the race leaders. They've got slower cars to get by. These are the ones, these are the tail enders rather than the problem with the cars battling mechanical dramas. And drawing level now, Bagnall, but it'll only be the outside line for Stowe, Ian.
Yeah, but can he go all the way around the outside there? No, I don't think he can. Bill Cowley just eases back in front. They've got those 2 back markers ahead of them, and it might have been that Bagnall was a bit mindful of that. Well, that's one car that stopped. That's the 67 car of Paul Mason. Yellow flags therefore coming into the Vale, so no overtaking opportunity here. And that also means that the leaders can't pass these back markers either, so that's going to bunch up 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, I would think, as we go into probably the final 3 laps of this race.
Yeah, Rod Hill is one of those cars, not quite at the speed of the race leaders, and they've also managed to get by one of the 2 back markers because they're now in green flag conditions. But how about a grandstand finish, everybody? We've got the top 5 cars all together on the main straight, still having to work their way by William Smith in the number 8 car, but certainly nose to tail, if not side by side, into Village between the 2 leaders.
Yeah, 0.4 of a second separated them at the end of lap number 9. I think this probably is going to be the anti-penultimate lap. So 2 more laps to go after this one. 77 and 41. Bill Cowley and Alexander Bagnall. And Bill Cowley, the champion a few years ago, back in 2017, in fact, so 5 years ago now. He's not been racing regularly in 750 Formula since then. Again, under attack from Bagnall around the outside into Stowe. Now he's a little bit further ahead this time. I think he got his nose in front, but again, just eases out of it, or does he? He sticks around the outside at Stowe corner. It's bold. It's not actually quite worked out for him, but he's still right in contention as they head down to the Vale. Cowley taking the middle of the road line into the corner, not really giving much of an opportunity for Bagnall to find a way through. But Cowley here is feeling the pressure and he's doing his best to soak it up with 2 laps now to go.
Yeah, almost deliberately slow from Cowley through the first part of club just to back up Bagnall a little bit more. Peter Bove was right with Mark Glover down the hanger straight the previous lap, and he is still underneath the rear wing of the number 4 car as Bove darts to the inside at Abbey. Might even get through in time for Farm, but what about Bagnall? He's trying to find an outside, or rather, yeah, inside line on Cowley. Bove did not get past Glover in the background, but that's likely to change at any moment as they head for the link on lap 11.
Yep, so really good racing this. There's not really a discernible gap between the 1st, 2nd and 3rd place car. In the background, I think Peter Bove was trying to get through and has got through now at the link. So Peter Bove is now through into 4th position, but in doing all of that, he's lost ground to the 3rd place car of Richard Rothery. Mark Glover has gone down to 5th. We've got Bagnall this time trying to go to the inside, switching to the outside here, but he's got to be mindful of Richard Rothery's blue PRS just behind him as well. So it looks like it's anyone. Well, I was going to say you're free flooding, but Rothery all of a sudden seems to have lost a bit of time there as Bagnall again makes an attempt on the way into the Vale. He's going to try and drive all the way around the outside and have the inside line for Club Corner, but actually makes a little bit of a mistake there and loses a few car lengths because of that. And now he's into the clutches of Richard Rothery for the final lap.
Just lost traction briefly, didn't he, at the turning point at Vale, and that means now he's a sitting duck to Richard Rothery, who had a cleaner exit, and is Rothery also being caught marginally by Bove. Well, Rothery will focus entirely now on trying to get the place away from Alexander Bagnall, but Bagnall's weathered that storm for the time being. Lost touch with Bill Cowley, but he's now fully focused on defending 2nd position, and Rothery wise probably to concentrate on finishing on the podium because Peter Bove, after that slight error, is through. And Rothery had not made the mistake at Vale Corner, so he was the one to benefit. Half a lap later, he loses 1 spot, and it might even be 2 now.
Because he's not got the momentum going on to the hanger straight that Mark Glover has, so we'll see if he can find a way through. Bill Cowley looks like he's got enough of a gap between himself and Alex Bagnall now for second place, and actually the cars just look as if they're spreading out a little bit as they head into Stowe for the final time. The clock, as you can see, has very nearly counted down to 0, and as a result of that, the checkered flag will be shown this time around, and I think, having built up to this, they are all going to go into the final couple of corners fairly equidistant. I don't think we're going to see a change, so up to the line is going to come Bill Cowley for his second victory of the weekend in the Raceparts 750 Formula Championship. A great race it was, though. Second place to Alex Bagnall in the star number 41. Third place to number 1 Peter Bove, a good comeback drive from him in the Derby. Fourth place to number 4 Mark Glover in the Race Kits Falcon.
Got Rodri at the line.
He did, didn't he? Yes. You're quite right, by 0.03 of a second. Fifth to number 17, Richard Rodri, 2.93 seconds behind. And here's this battle for 7th still ongoing. In fact, this is the battle for 8th now. And it's going to be Jake Doherty, who just comes home ahead of Chris Goff and David Watts. The 50 car of Rod Hill has come to a stop right towards the end of the race there. So the drivers that I didn't mention, oh actually, the time screen's updated itself. So 6th was number 31, Ollie Collett. It was 7th for Jake Doherty, 8th for Christopher Johnson, and 9th for David Watts, because Chris Goff has stopped on the final lap as well, it would seem.
Okay, that's a real shame, because Goff had been duelling with Jake Doherty and in fact Christopher Johnson for quite some time, in fact most of that race, so I don't know what the issue is for Chris's car, but that's big disappointment for him. It would have been a pretty strong result otherwise for the CGR2, the Evo version for the Shropshire man. So yeah, didn't he even get across the line, did he? So expiring on that final lap, or did he get across the line? 12th position.
Yes, he did, but
so,
he was
limping across.
Long lapped, 127 on the final lap. So let's run down the top finishers for you. The win then to number 77, Bill Cowley. By 0.9 of a second, he was the winner from number 41, Alex Bagnall. Third was number 1, Peter Bove. Fourth was number 4, Mark Glover. Fifth was number 17, Richard Rothery. Sixth was 31, Ollie Collett. Seventh then, in the end, was number 5, Jake Doherty. Eighth, number 38, Christopher Johnson. Ninth, 57, David Watts, after his spin earlier on. And completing the top 10 was number 15, Bill Rutter. But it was another win for Bill Cowley on his return to racing in the Raceparts 750 Formula Championship. We'll hear from him in a moment, as well as Alex Bagnall and Peter Bove. As I said earlier on, the 750 Formula cars are next at Cadwell Park in a month's time for a triple header event there, and then they'll complete their season at Mallory Park with Peter Bove again finishing ahead of all of his championship rivals there, so he will extend his lead in the championship heading towards Cadwell Park. What looked relatively inauspicious weekend for him at one point. He was sort of down in the bottom end of the top 6. Came good in the end as he moved up into the podium positions towards the end of that race. So 3 more races to come before the lunch break. We've got the Freaky Park Sport Specials Championship up next, then Historic 750 Formula, then BMW Car Club Racing Championship. But now let's head down to the pit lane, and Chris Stephens will speak to our top 3.
Well, the first race of the 750 Formula Championship of the day goes to Bill Cowley, wrapping up a perfect weekend for you.
Yeah, circuit that we least expect it. Silverstone has been a very bogey track for us because the car's not fast enough through the fast stuff. So when I qualified on pole yesterday, it was a big surprise. When I was coming in, this car is useless. But yeah, really good weekend, great battle with Alex, and I just tried backing Alex back up because I've seen Richard Rothery in the background. I thought if I can get Alex defending, that's my break because near the end of the race, and backed him up a bit, and yeah, got the job done.
It was a great fight between you and Alex. You're nail-biting stuff, particularly at the end there.
Oh, absolutely. It was definitely had to work for it, but like I say, I knew I seen Richard in the background, so back him up and hopefully get someone else involved and take the pressure off me.
Well, we expect to see you out later in the season as well?
Yeah, I'll be at Cadwell. That's my favourite circuit, and possibly Mallory at end of year as well.
Well, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you back out later today. Second place went to Alex Bagnall. So close there with Bill towards the end of that race.
Yeah, I mean, I just heard the end of what Bill was saying about his ruse of letting me fall into the traps of other people, and it worked perfectly, so congratulations to him. I think I did have legs on him, at least with the slipstream, but his defensive driving was perfect, so there was no way through.
Where were you finding the speed against Bill?
It was basically the corner onto the hanger straight. I was just able to carry a lot more speed through that and get onto the back of him basically, and that was all the gains were made down that back end of the course.
Do you reckon you might be able to get him next time?
I'll definitely try, but he's pretty good. So he's a hard guy to race against, and but the more I race against, the more I learn his tricks.
Absolutely. Well, fantastic stuff. Congratulations on second place. Third place went to Peter Bove. You seemed to struggle a little bit in the early stages of that race. You were getting past, but you managed to gather it back up and get onto the podium.
Yeah, my car hasn't been working very well this weekend at all. So we've been trying to change things. Yesterday I had turn-in oversteer. Today I had mid-corner understeer, so I think we've probably overcompensated. But you know, it was good to get past, get up to third, and manage to stay there, unlike yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it was a last lap overtake, real opportunistic stuff to get back onto the podium.
The last couple of laps worked quite well, yeah, because I got Mark, and then I knew that Richard had been running quite wide at that corner. Surprised I didn't get black and white flag, but you know, so I thought if I got a really clean run through the corner before that, I could maybe get him there, and I did. And then I was expecting him to come back past down the straight because that car's very quick in a straight line. But clearly I'd put him off his game, so that was good. I managed to keep hold of it.
Well, fantastic stuff. Congratulations on the podium. Ian, let's go back up to you because coming up next, it is the Freaky Parts Sports Special Championship.